told you to quiet down, but now you wear a crown. Visionary queen with a spark.
Welcome to You Matter in Business with Ariel Faith, your brand, your story, and your success, because you matter in your business. Welcome back to You Matter in Business. This week we are talking again with my mouth's not going to work. Sue Schuster, who combines her background as a competitive athlete, business owner, financial strategist to help entrepreneurs grow their business sustainably. After building and selling her own successful swim school while raising a family, she understands the unique challenges women face balancing business growth with life responsibilities. She specializes in showing business owners how to access and leverage corporate credit. And this week, we're going to talk about strategic funding so that we can build sustainable growth with our businesses. So, welcome again, Sue.
Thank you.
And we are just talked last time about corporate credit, and I wanted you to clarify something because we were just talking about it and we realized that I was misunderstanding something. So for the audience, I think it would be important for a clarity. When you talk about corporate credit, before we get into the funding, the corporate credit is not
Corporate credit is
only
just
for corporations.
No, it's anybody with an EIN. So
Okay.
corporate doesn't mean corporate, although that is the technical term for it. If you look it up, it's called corporate credit. Banks like to call it business credit. But anybody with an EIN, the EIN is the key.
Okay.
That's what you need to build credit on. And we call it corporate, but you don't have to be incorporated. You just have to have an EIN, however you got that one.
Okay. And that's usually you get that from the IRS. So
Right. We'll apply for it.
Yep. And it's free. Don't pay $50 to get it done. Okay. So how do you grow corporate credit once it's established? How do you actually grow it? And then what are the strategic ways you can use it for business expansion? So that gets into, you've got through the tiers, now you have the credit, and now you are going to, I want to grow, I want to expand, but I need to have the funding for it. So what do we do here? What's the bridge?
Right. So now we're making the assumption that we have an 80 plus score in tier 4 for corporate credit.
Okay.
So we had to go through the tiers. We had to do all our due diligence. We have the right cards. We've used them and paid them off monthly successfully, as you would with personal credit. You want to make sure that you're not late and whatnot. So we're making that very, very huge assumption that we did. Now we have great credit on our EIN number. So depending on what you want, do you want a truck? Do you want a loan? Do you want something else? They all report to different agencies. So if you want a loan or a truck, that is an Experian. If you want maybe a line of credit, that is more of a Dun & Bradstreet. So you have to make sure that you are growing your corporate credit in all three: Experian, Dun & Bradstreet, and Equifax.
Okay.
So then I go to maybe I want a new truck or something like that for my business. And I go into the dealership and I say, I want this truck on my EIN number. And then the dealer's like, that's not a thing. And you're like, yes, it is. Here you go. Here's my paperwork. And you give them your EIN number and they go back to the funding people. And then the funding people say, hey, yeah, she can have her truck on her EIN number. Her corporate credit is great. Boom, I drive away with my truck. And then banks the same way. You kind of have to force your hand because you know what you're talking about. You know your corporate credit is great. And then when you go into the banks, it's usually the big banks that you're looking for these type of loans. And you say, I want a loan on my EIN number. And again, the teller looks at you like you have 4 heads because we know more than most at this point. And then you say, I want this. And you know what your credit is, just like you know your personal credit's great. And you want a personal loan, you go in there with swagger. Well, I know my business credit's great. I'm going to go in there with swagger. This is what I want. Give me the loan. And then they'll be like, okay. So it's a matter of knowing what your credit score is, and then what banks to utilize. Dealerships are much easier because they kind of all report to the same place. But then you just get your line of credit or your term loan or whatever else you want. And what can you use that for? Okay, you can use it for a truck. Why would you want a truck? Maybe you need to expand your business. Maybe you have now 5 other plumbers that you have hired to go out and do things. Maybe you need a huge marketing campaign, or you want to go working with a meat packing company and they wanted to change how they did their meat processing so that they qualified for something else and then they can get better contracts. Maybe you need a new key employee. Be like, hey, I want to grow and scale, but I just don't have the bandwidth. I can't do this on myself, or my team's not big enough. I need a yada yada. And
Yep.
then you have the funds for that as well. And then maybe you goofed up and you just need some funds too. So, or a bridge loan. So often I work a lot in construction. So maybe you need a bridge loan because you have a huge contract,
Right.
but that doesn't happen for 6 months until you finish the work. And how do I pay my people in the meantime?
Yep.
And the equipment and everything else, but I get this big payday. So you can get a bridge loan to get you there as well.
Okay. Okay. Do you have to go through, if you're established your credit, is the same lending process the same where they would want to see, balance statements and all that fun stuff
They would
from your
business.
From your business.
Okay.
Okay.
Because again, we're trying very hard not to personally guarantee these things. But if you're asking for, maybe you've only built corporate credit for $100,000, but now you need $500,000.
Right.
Honestly, that's still probably going to be personally guaranteed because you have
Okay.
to build that as a recommended amount.
Gotcha.
So remember, as much as you can get on your corporate credit, paying it off, your budget, probably rent is not going to be on there. However, payroll could be.
Okay.
Okay, I know of one. One payroll service actually reports, others don't report. But the more you can get on there, then the more the line of credit will be, or the recommended amount will be. But if you want additional funding on top of that, still might be personally guaranteed.
Okay. Now, what about when you're thinking about, oh, I just lost it. So it's an afternoon, isn't it?
Yes. And funding can be great to talk about when it's easy, but when it's not.
It's really good too.
Okay.
It was just something you were just saying, but when you're looking at getting the financing and you think you have the credit. Okay. So you're working with local bank and you have a business credit card
Mhm.
and a business account.
That's probably personally guaranteed, but yeah.
And if they don't report it, that's not helping you at all, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
So you are under this delusion that you have credit when you don't. And then you go to grow or you want to get that loan. How do they just tell you no and you have to personally guarantee it? I mean, what happens in that transition?
Probably. So if you don't know somebody like me who will actually pull your business credit for you and tell you what's on there, you can do it through Dun and Bradstreet, but you probably have to pay money and all those things. But if you get into the bank and then I want this much because I want to build and grow, and the bank says no, couple things. You could just at that point through your bank personally guarantee it and get the loan. Or you can say, well, I'm going to go try other options because there's other lending agencies out there that are not banks that you could possibly go through. And I have several that I partner with that can give you business funding that is not the bank.
Okay. Now, what about when you're building that credit and in the personal loan world or the personal credit world, they tell you to do things. It's just like playing a game. You should always have a little bit on your card. And you should keep it for several months. There should be some balance that keeps getting transferred versus paying it off every single month is better for your credit than if you paid it off every month. How does that work with corporate?
It would be the same thing, but I don't know about keep a little bit of a balance. As long as you utilize the card and pay it off every month. So if I put $100 on it and I pay off $100 and next month I do the same thing, that works just as good. You don't want that interest on credit cards and all that stuff is insane.
Yes, it is insane.
So you just want to utilize it and pay it off every month. If you can't pay it off, well, at least pay the minimum and
If not more, yeah. Okay.
and don't make yourself a big old bill and big old mess.
All right. Because that's what I've heard that from credit people who trying to reestablish their credit and how to improve your personal credit. So I was just wondering if that applied to business.
It's pretty
Whether
much
it's
the
true or
same.
not, I have no idea. But
Yeah, you want to use the cards and pay it off. You don't want to get a card, never use it. That's
right.
not going to do anything. So you get a card and use it. Make sure it's one that you can actually utilize. But sometimes banks are not the answer when it comes to this. There's all kinds of other funding out there. You can get equipment funding. I know some great people for equipment funding that turns around in like less than a week. If you want that truck and you can't get it on your just your EIN and you need some better terms, you can use that. There's cash flow loans that you can just do. If you're making more than 10,000 to 30,000 a month and you need a loan for this, that, or the other thing, then you can do that as well. There's term loans. SBA is usually pretty aggressive, but there's a good use for them. I mean, we're one of the only countries that actually offers something that's an SBA loan, they're backed by the government. And if you default on them,
It's not a good thing.
It's the government. So we're not gonna mess with them.
Yes.
But there's other options than just the banks. Banks are useful and sometimes work out really well, but sometimes they don't. And you can look at other options before you just say, I'll personally guarantee it.
Okay. Now, one of the things you said in your bio, it said you talked about buying corporate credit for real estate investing without using personal funds. I'm assuming that's for rentals or.
It's great for flippers.
Okay.
So you can utilize the same line of credit over and over and over again. So then the cost of the money you're using, because it costs money to borrow money, it can get down to really low amounts when you reutilize the money all the time. And think of it like this. If I have several rental properties, all with their own LLCs, keep in mind, if you own your own properties, they should all have their own LLCs. Again, we like to sue around here in the US. So if I have all my rental properties under the same LLC and one goes awry, they can get all of them. So keep them separate.
Is that why some people have so many different companies?
Yes.
Oh.
And then you can stack them and layer them, and one can be in one, like have the top one in Wyoming so you can't get sued. And yeah, there's all kinds of ways to do that. But so I have 5 rental properties, all with their own LLCs, all building corporate credit. Then I can lump them together and buy another rental property and paper the loan to myself because they're all my businesses. So the more companies you have, they can all build their own corporate credit and you can put them together and then utilize them for something else.
Behind the lens, crafting tales and news.
Bring your marketing, your brand to life with storytelling and strategy. Cut through the noise with clear messaging and compelling visuals that resonate with your ideal client. We bring strategy, story, and visuals to help you with your marketing. Visit arieljoyfaith.com and schedule a consultation and see how we can help you bring your brand to life.
Selfies here, just genuine sight. Authenticity in every light.
Okay, so if you have in business A, B, and C about 100,000, you could then use 300,000 by pulling them together. Okay.
Right. Another thing that you can do, especially with spouses, I can build corporate credit on my EIN, but then my husband wants to start a company. Okay, so then I'll use my corporate credit as the startup money for his company and paper him the loan.
Gotcha.
And then I don't have to go to the SBA.
Oh, that's of course if you have the money.
Well, no, because I'm going to build it with my company over time.
Oh,
I'm an established company.
gotcha.
Just buy what he needs for his company on my EIN number. And then once he gets going, I give him the loan.
Ah. So you're building, that's a win-win.
It is a win-win.
I
'Cause
heard a
Ryan
win-win
has
there.
to also come up with, I don't know, 200,000 that he would need for his startup.
Yeah, yeah. Without having to get the secure loan. Very cool. Because you've been a mom through all this, and it
Yeah.
sounds like you probably had some experiences that you didn't enjoy because finances can get really ugly. I know 2007,
8.
8, 9, those were horrible years in Florida. So a lot of us lost a lot during those years. So when you're being the mom, you're being the business owner, and you're controlling the chaos while you're doing all the family things. w- What what are some things you learned in that process that helped you control the chaos that you can share?
Sure. So back then, swim school owner, and if some teacher didn't come in or whatnot, then I would have to go flying in. And actually, we had a pool in our backyards. And when my children are now both in college, and they'd be like, "Let's go swimming, mom." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to go swimming. I've been swimming all day. No swimming." But no, then you got to just suck it up. Yes, okay, we'll go swimming. So I mean, what I learned, I mean, there's definitely the times when I'm looking in the mirror like, "What am I doing? How can I be mom? How can I be business owner? How can I be good at all these things and still be the person I want to be?" And sometimes you just fail at it and you're like, "Oh, for
Today was
instance,
not a good day.
no. For instance, my daughter came home with her project for Mother's Day, and it was like a computer project and had like a little outstanding and smart and athletic, but also had the word tired on her little collage of words. And I was like, "Ooh." So I asked her, I'm like, "Why is it tired?" "Well, mommy, you always say you're tired." And I'm like, "I do. Whenever I don't want to answer a question or whenever I don't, I say I'm tired," because she can understand that in her 7-year-old little brain. And then I was like, "No, I can't be tired." So then I just took that word and I kicked it out for a while. So I think a lot of self-reflection, allowing yourself to just be mom and turn off your phone and the business. Maybe it'll be there when you come back, probably. But to make sure, because really what matters, I mean, your business is your kid too. It really is, but that's a kid you can sell. That's a kid that's not coming to Christmas dinner. That's so really put your priorities where they need to be. And if the business fails or you can't sell it or stuff happens. So if it fails, you still have your family. So I always made sure to put that first. E- Even though sometimes it didn't like happen at that moment because I had to go pick up the pieces someplace else. So I just learn how to forgive, learn how to multitask. If your kids are in sports, Game Changer is a great thing that you could watch what they're doing and then you miss the game and you feel bad you missed the game. But then you go to dinner or wherever else. "Hey, I saw you hit this. I saw you scored that. I saw you did this. This mom said this." And just so that they know that you're present and you don't have to be at every event, but you should really try to be at most.
Yeah. Kids are so fragile. I've been a self-employed person for almost 30 years, and I have children from 37 all the way to 19. So needless to say, there's a little bit of a gap in between a few of those. But the the interesting thing that my youngest daughter shared with me recently that I was completely unaware of, because here I am, thinking I'm doing a great job, sacrificing, because I could be working for somebody else and making a great deal more money, right? Than trying to maintain this business where I'm home, I'm available, I'm here. I might be working, but I'm here. And I'm pretty good at when the door is shut, I'm out of work, right? So when I'm out of my office, I'm at home. When I'm in my office, I'm at work, right? So I'm pretty good at that. But what they shared with me was that because of that, they have great business. They're great workers. In a society of a lot of kids don't have great work ethics. These kids, all of them have very good work ethics. But they felt a sense of like I was here, but I wasn't here. which was interesting to me because in my mind, I was here, but in their mind, I was still not here. And
Yeah,
so it was interesting to see that even though you do the best you can with what you have, I still think it was a better choice than going to corporate and working full time 70 hours a week because I'd never see them. So I still think it was a better choice, but the impact is still there
for
on
sure it is.
their upbringing.
For sure it is. However, I think that's part of the reason why they're such great workers.
It is. They
Yeah, so they
saw
see
work.
me hustling, trying to do, and that's what we are as mothers. We're role models. And they see what they're doing and they believe then that maybe they could be, hopefully they're doing better than us and they create this great business. And the kids would be like, well, did you see that weird commercial on TV? I said, yeah. And that went through 15 people. Somebody thought that was a good idea. Then somebody else thought it was a good idea. And then they decided to put money into it and blah, blah, blah. So if you have some great ideas and if you think you can do it better, or there's a need or whatever else, then go do it because people made pretty much, I mean, people make government, people make rules, it's not just here. And as children, you think that why is the light red, yellow, and green? Why are those the colors? Well, somebody picked that.
Oh, I don't know who it was,
Somebody
but they
knew.
did.
Yeah, somebody picked that. It's not just a rule. So I think just being business owners and mothers and doing all we do, yeah, we're not stay-at-home mothers, and that's okay. But we're still moms and we're teaching our kids through our work and through our work ethic, which is going to serve them very well. And maybe we didn't make every basketball game.
Maybe not. Or we didn't take the I was a very bad soccer mom, I'm not gonna lie.
I was a softball mom. I
Yeah.
tried to be a soccer mom, and then that just didn't happen. It is.
I don't know why, but I was a bad soccer mom. So what's the difference between how Wall Street uses corporate credit versus how Main Street business typically approach funding?
Okay,
Going back to our
easy.
funding issues.
Yes, so easy. Main Street doesn't know better. Main Street goes into the bank or goes and says, okay, fine, I'm supposed to personally guarantee this, and they do. And
Okay.
then they get the funds and then they move on. Could you imagine a corporation saying, I want to build a building, here's my personal information. I want a factory, here's my personal information. That doesn't happen. So Main Street has been using corporate credit and getting funding on just the business forever. And Main Street doesn't even know it's a thing. So that's part of the mission, is to teach Main Street that, hey, you can get funding on just your EIN number. It does take some work. It's just not a turnkey, but it is something,
Right.
it does exist, and you don't have to personally guarantee everything. That's what corporations have been doing forever.
Yeah. And it's typically the big guys, right?
Mhm. Well, I mean, they don't have to be that big.
Because you're doing it and you're successful, right?
Right. I mean, just think of everything that just went under, like Kmart. Do you think somebody
Yeah.
lost a home? Probably
No.
not.
Probably not. So you had mentioned in your bio that you helped businesses unlock real growth in as little as 90 days. So can you expound on how that works?
Sure. So that is through our one of the lending programs that we have that helps you establish your corporate credit, and then it grows it for you, and then we can get lending on that, and that's in 90 days, somewhere between 300 to 500,000 per EIN. We can stack EINs on top of each other and then get more money, and then you could go for other rounds of funding if you didn't need more than 500,000. But that is a way to get funding quickly, because it is quick, like not a year, then it does require some upfront money to begin with. But it
Okay.
does, I mean, it's a little bit of upfront money to get $500,000, does take only about 3 to 4 months as opposed to a year. And it's a turnkey, it will do it for you as opposed to you using all the trade lines, using the vendors and everything else. If you
Okay.
can use
Okay.
smaller amounts, then we can do that as well through other vendors that we have for loans that are may or may not be banks, can be alternatives, and we can help People who don't have FICO scores of 700 plus, we can help them with less. A lot of them will be personally guaranteed, but not by the government, not an SBA.
Okay. Okay. So, what has surprised you the most from when you went from the swimming school teacher, instructor, business owner to you're now in this financial world where you're now educating and helping people avoid all the trouble that you apparently experienced?
So I think the hardest part was getting the word out, but I already knew what they didn't know because I didn't know. So
Right.
it's not like when the business, I didn't know. I'm like, I didn't either.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know
it's not,
either.
no, I didn't know either. And they feel bad about it. I didn't know. Well, yeah, that's okay. I didn't either. That's why we're here. So that what the business owner already knows, it doesn't surprise me. We'll put it that way. And
Okay.
the stories that they tell, this happened, that happened, this was terrible. I mean, I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I get it. The problem is actually reaching all the business owners. And I knew it would be a problem because they're all head down, grinding and getting through their day and their business and just trying to survive or just trying to grow. And they're not looking for things they don't know.
Yes.
So that's why I'm doing podcasts, is to get the word out that this is a thing. I can help you, we can help you, and to grow your business from there.
Very cool. And I'm going to leave the contact information, and you have a discovery call, I believe, or whatever you want to call it, consultation call
Right. And I'll
available. I'm
enter
going to,
their credit for them. It's not personal credit. I'm not diving into your personal credit. It doesn't do a ding or anything, but we can see where you are in the corporate credit world. If, which is probably 90% true, you don't have anything or very little, we can help you with a platform to grow it.
okay, that'd be cool. I am excited to share this insight with a whole bunch of people I know. So, besides the audience, obviously. And I think this is going to be really insightful because I know, finances right now, the economy isn't behaving the way most of us want. So this can get a little tricky. And if there are other options and we're totally unaware of them, it's good to know them
Right. Yeah,
instead
I
of,
think
mortgaging your house the third time to keep your business running or whatever, people do
right.
that.
Right. There's other ways to do it. And sometimes they are personally guaranteed and sometimes they're not. So we'll just, but they don't have to be quite as aggressive as some other types of lending. So I think lending is going to be key here in the next bit to help the business either stay afloat or grow or whatever they're doing. So never let a good crisis go to waste.
Never let a good crisis. That's a good tagline. I like that. This is opportunity. This crisis is
Heck yeah.
opportunity.
We did pretty well in COVID. I mean, you have chlorine and bleach. So
Yeah,
we were pretty sterile.
that's true. Very cool. Okay, well, thank you very much for sharing your insights. I'm going to put all your information in the notes for the podcast episode so people can get a hold of you. I really hope they do because your insights are invaluable, especially in times of chaos. Do you work only in the US before I leave you?
For coaching, no. For funding, yes.
Okay. Okay, cuz
And corporate credit needs an EIN or ITIN number, which can be for a foreign national.
okay, cuz I do work with businesses in other countries, so I just figured I would ask cuz
Well, if they just need some coaching, I can help them with that.
okay. All right. Very, very cool. It was exciting to meet you and thank you again.
Yep. Thank you as well.
See you next episode. After all, it is your brand, your story, and your success because I know that you matter in business. Thank you for listening to You Matter in Business podcast. Please follow, share, like, and comment. I would love to hear from you. This podcast is sponsored by Ariel Faith Storytelling Marketing and Your Brand Photographer. The show notes provide more information on how to contact Ariel and more information about this episode. Thank you again.
They told you to quiet down, but now you wear a crown. Visionary queen with a spark, lighting up the dark. Reach Rediscover your own fire. Chase the dreams that lift you higher. Redefine your role today. Brand new in every way. Build your confidence through my lens. Break the walls you put on since. Embrace your power, hear your roar. You are meant for so much more. You are meant for so much more.